Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a video today on how to select the proper camshaft for your application or your motor build that you're getting ready to do. I did do a video last night of this and it got corrupted again somehow, and it got deleted off of my channel. And I'm so sorry guys, and I wanted to give a big shout out to the people that commented on it. And you guys know who you are, and I really appreciate the feedback and the support that you're giving me for my channel. I am trying to get it up and going. I'm new at this. I've only been doing it for about a month now, and it's going to be, this channel is revolved around me and my boys, my wife, my family, this is our channel, and you guys will be seeing a lot of my sons and my wife and everything else on this channel. But like I was saying, somehow the video got deleted off of YouTube, so now I got to remake it because I just want to put it back out there in case there's people that were at work or something that didn't get a chance to watch it yet. And the guys that have watched it, I am so sorry about this. I'm not going to put you through not watching it again if you don't want to. But I have 3 rules when I select camshafts for vehicle, guys. I assess what they have, what their needs are going to be, and if they have the equipment that will accept what they want to do. Because you get guys that they open up these catalogs from Jegs or Summit, and there's literally pages and pages of camshafts. And these guys, they'll go through and they'll read them, and they'll select a camshaft that, okay, this is what I want. I want this Lopi idle, and I want my power band to be from 35 to 85 or 8,000 or whatever. And they buy it and they put it in their vehicle, and they are disappointed because it doesn't work out how they want. And on today's video, guys, I'm going to tell you how I go about selecting camshafts for applications. And so, because every motor's different. One guy could have, this, the other guy could have that. And you have to know what you have for your own personal motor combination in order to pick the right camshaft, guys. So what I do, I meet with the customer, and I'll ask them, well, what do you plan on doing? I mean, is this an everyday driver? Do you plan on taking it on the weekends, just cruising around, then maybe once in a while take it to the racetrack? And 3, or is it an all-out drag car? And after he tells me, then I'll assess what he has, and then I'll go from there. Or if you get another scenario, if you get somebody that they bought a vehicle that's in their garage, and they don't know nothing about the motor, and they want to, put an intake on it, a camshaft, and a set of headers to kind of increase the power. I'm going to give you guys that are in that category a way to select the right camshaft. That way you're going to get all the power out of your motor that you're looking for and that you expect. Okay, guys? So we're going to do a little scenario situation here on how I do it. We're going to say that, a 17-year-old high school kid, he buys a car. He comes and sees me, and he's like, Herb, he's like, what camshaft can I run in this vehicle? And I want to try and get the most I can out of it. And I'm like, first thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go and I'm going to pull his valve cover off. And why would you do that? Well, I'm going to take and get his casting numbers off of the head, and I'm going to write them down on my paper. And I have books here that date all the way back to the early 60s on all the GM, Mopar, Olds, Pontiac, even Ford. By the way, thanks, Dad, for all the books. Love them. They do me a lot of good. But anyway, guys, I'll run the numbers on the head. And by running the numbers, it gives you so much information on that. And just for instance, for purpose here, I'm going to show you. I did a build for a gentleman a while back, and this was a new build, and we bought a set of heads, and when you buy heads, guys, like aftermarket heads from, it doesn't matter if they're cast iron or aluminum, you guys are going to get one of these with it. You see on the bottom there where it says flow data? Well, this will tell you at what lift of the cam how much that head flows. Like for instance, you see 100, that's 100 thousandths lift. That head's flowing 79, okay? And then at 200 lift, it's flowing, what is that, 143. Okay, guys? Hold with me 1 second here. Let me see if I can find, yep, there it is. My numbers here. Because what I'll do, guys, I'll run their numbers. After I find out their, you know, like I said, I'll take the casting numbers and I'll run that head and I'll find out their numbers. So like I said, for instance, we're going to use this for the example today. So and when I say 100ths lift, for guys that don't know what I'm talking about, you got your cam and it's egg shaped, which is called the cam lobes. And as your cam comes around to to top dead center of the cam lobe, it's going to push up on your push rod, and it's going to go to your rocker arm, and it's going to push down on your valve spring, and it's going to take your valve off of the valve seat 100 thousandths. So that's the base point on this head that we're using for an example today. So at 100,000, it flowed 79 cubic feet per minute. Now, when they're talking cubic feet per minute, guys, they're talking the airflow through the chambers from the intake through the exhaust, okay? So that's what they're talking about, cubic feet per minute. So we're going to step up to 200 thousandths. At 200 thousandths, the head flowed 143. So from 100 thousandths lift to 200 thousandths lift, we gained 200 cubic feet per minute of flow. Or no, excuse me, 65 is the gain on it, but I kind of messed that up, but we'll get her going here, guys. I'm sorry about that. We were at 200 lift, but from 100 to 200 lift, we gained 65, okay? So that's the 65 more cubic feet per minute airflow. So now we go to 300 lift, which is 207 at 300 lift, and we gained 64 more, okay, guys? So let's jump up to 400 thousandths. 400 thousandths, it goes to 49 cubic feet per minute. So as you guys can see this pattern, we were getting good numbers with, like 300. We're still getting a lot of, increase. But now that we're up around 400 in, lift, we're at 49, okay? So let's go to 500. Now at 500, we only gained 22 more cubic feet per minute. So what that's telling me, guys, is that the head is starting to meet its capacity. I mean, the numbers are dropping drastically on cubic feet per minute. So what that's telling me, at between 400 and 500 lift, that airflow is slowing down. So, I mean, you can put a 700-inch lift cam on that setup, and it ain't gonna flow no better than at 500. It's flowing 278 on that head that we're using, for example. So even if you put a 700-inch lift cam on it, you're not gonna flow any better than the top number for. We didn't go over the 600 lift because I didn't think it would matter, but I'll do it just for informational purposes. The head topped out. This particular head topped out with a 600 lift at 291 cubic feet per minute airflow. And from 500 to the 600 lift, the gain that we got was only 6. So 6 more. So that, that's why I didn't even bring the, the 600 lift up, because it wouldn't have did any good. So where I would come in, I would start doing my numbers, and I see where it started dropping off at, the first time it started dropping off. And that's in between 400 and 500 lift, guys. So what cam, let me see if I got that cam card handy here. What'd I do with it? What'd I do with it? Well, anyways, guys, I kept the guy's cam card. Because I service his motor. I do his spark plugs. If he thinks he's got to do a timing change, he brings it back to me. I'm the one that does all the tuning and everything on this guy's motor. And the camshaft that I selected for this particular mod was a Comp Cam 268H, which has a max lift of 480, and the duration was 260. Now, duration is a totally different thing when you got, people always think that, that want that big lift cam and that's going to give them the blah, 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 blah. Well, that's not it, guys. The radical idle, and that's all duration. So you start getting into duration, and like I was telling you before, your lift is measured in thousandths. Well, now that we're getting into duration, that's measured in crankshaft degrees. Duration is how long it holds your valve open. So we have a 480 lift cam. So your duration is, your crankshaft degree is telling you how long we're holding that valve open at 480. Okay? And that's your duration. So, you start getting up around, 230. That's basically like a stock motor, maybe a little over stock. You start getting your duration up around 280 to 300 in that area, then you're starting to get into your a pretty serious duration, real radical, low vacuum. You're going to need a big converter, stuff like that. So now duration has a factor too. Like this power band that we're using for an example today, guys, has a power band of 2,500 to 6,500. So when I asked the gentleman, what converter, we're going to run a 3,000 stall converter. That's going to put us just like 500, 500 over the RPM of what's needed to run this cam properly in order for it to work right. So you start getting into these big duration cams, and, if you don't put the right converter, you're going to start pushing through stoplights and stuff like that. And that's where the converters come in. And also, the intakes, when you do these cam swaps, the intakes is a big part of it too, because you have, your intake runner lengths and CCs. How many CC is the intake, the intake runners. But there's two different kinds of intakes that you could run on, depending on what cams you go with. You can run the single plane, it's called. It's an open plenum intake, where it's straight, where underneath the carb is just straight through to all four runners. Or you could use the dual plane intake, it's called, and it's got a divider on the plenum where the carburetor sits. That divides it up and and does its magic in there like that. On this particular build, we ended up using, a nice small single plane intake, and it worked good in that application. But that's the joys of the camshafts and stuff, guys. And like I said, intake runners and all that, that's a different story and a different video on how to CC ahead, the intake runner lengths. And I wanted to, kind of get into that, but I want to thank you guys too for sticking with me. Like I said, for the guys that already watched this video, and it really stinks having to reshoot it, and but I just wanted people to know, if you have a hot rod that's out in the garage, for ordinary everyday guys like me, and like a lot of my friends that are sub to this channel, that don't have a lot of money and don't like taking their car and leaving it with somebody else at a shop. I'm real superstitious when it comes to stuff like that. Even to get exhaust done or something, I don't like to leave my car there, without me there. I don't like people pulling it in the shop and putting it on the hoist. I don't like that. You can call me superstitious or just weird or whatever, but I don't like anybody else besides my wife, my boys, touching my, my race car. as far as driving it goes. But like I was saying, guys, if you got a hot rod out in the garage that you don't know what it is, or it has a motor, a small block Chevy or a big block Chevy, Mopar, whatever, take the valve covers off, guys, and run your numbers, and make sure that you guys, run the numbers on the head, and then you'll get that flow data. That's the key right there on selecting the right camshaft for what you're going to need for that motor, because you'll know that your heads can support that lift and duration, and for the airflow, for the cubic feet per minute. And I guarantee you, it'll scream. You overcam, a lot of people has done it in the past. I've seen it. People leaving car shows, they come up and their car sounds mean at idle. I mean, just rattling, blah, 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 sounding killer. But then they leave to go get on it, and I was like, damn, the way that sounded, that thing should have just ate it up. And it was a big turd. So, that's what you're going to get if you don't do your homework and select it. But I'm telling you guys right now, the first step in making sure that you have the right equipment and to be able to select your own camshaft at, out of the book, is run the numbers on your head and find out what they flow. And when, like you said, if you have an aftermarket head, like an old Fuelie head, a Camelback head, or something like that, and you don't know if it's been ported or polished or decked or anything like that, like I said, you can step up a little bit. I always go a little bit, like I said, we were at 500 lift on this guy's cam, and it was still making numbers, but not very many. So that's what told me that it was, even at 600 lift, it only made 6. So, I mean, it was completely done flowing after that. So you would never want to max that out. So, like I said, that's why I went with the 480 lift, because it was still making good numbers between the 400 thousandths and the 500 thousandths range on the flow. So, but, like I said, if you have one of these old heads, the Fuelie heads or Camelback heads that you can tell that somebody's put a better valve in, it's safe to go up on camshaft a little bit. I wouldn't go a ton. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to thank you and tell you I'm sorry again. I can't say it enough about the video getting deleted. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. And one last time, I appreciate all the guys that commented. You know who we are, and I really appreciate it. So until next time, guys,